call us to order. Are you all ready? Yes, okay. I will call us to order. Jodine, has attendance been taken? All right, thank you. So first up, we have the public hearing on the budget for fiscal year 2025, 2026. So we are now going to discuss the budget. Is that right? Did I do this right?
Yes.
Okay. Eli, do you want to get us started with the budget?
Sure, just to, this will be approved or up for approval during the regular meeting. So this is a specific hearing just for the budget itself. It's a separate packet, the single sheet, just so that everyone has a chance to comment separately on the budget if there's any desire to make any comments on the proposed budget for 2025, 2026.
Great. So the board will discuss it during the regular meeting?
That's correct.
Okay, great. So
This is the
just
budget hearing.
This is just the
The
budget
approval
hearing.
happens during the regular meeting.
Got it. Okay. So do we have any public comments specifically about the budget? We will have a chance for regular public comment session in just a minute. Okay. So that concludes the hearing on the budget. So now I'm going to reconvene us immediately to the regular meeting, which will start with the approval of the agenda. Can I get a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved. Second.
All those in favor, please say yes. Yes?
Yes.
All right, can I get a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved. Second.
All those in favor of the consent agenda, please say yes.
Yes.
Okay, consent agenda passes. Now we have a chance. Jodine, are there any public comments?
Good evening, everybody. My name is Rami Al-Zubi. I'm with All Inclusive. There's a resolution in front of you guys for the custodial bid. Thank you, obviously, for your time tonight, as well as the opportunity to partner with the AADL. We have continued to follow up, and we're excited and hope that we can receive your vote of confidence tonight and to help you better serve both your customers, who will in turn become our customers. We've already begun preparations, and I think that you guys will be very happy with what we can help provide for you and your staff and your customers. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Next up is Ray.
All right, so I have some pamphlets to pass out, if that's okay? Is that allowed?
Sure.
All right, thank you. Just a little bit about Facility 360. We put in a proposal as well for janitorial services.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate your help. And here you are.
Thank you.
All right. I'm not the best at speaking, to be quite honest. I'm not a salesperson. We're more of an operations team. So I did write something. Thank you for the opportunity. My name is Ray Awad, and I am the Director of Operations for Facilities 360. Thank you for giving me a moment to speak with you directly. You've already received an email from me, and we won't rehash every detail, but I wanted to come here in person and express why we believe that Facilities 360 is the right partner for the Ann Arbor District Library. This isn't just a contract for us. It's about pride in our work and a genuine desire to serve our local community. We are based in Ann Arbor, and we know what it means to invest in public spaces that people rely on and love, such as the libraries. We submitted the lowest qualified bid, fully compliant with all the RFP's criteria, and with a strong performance record across public and educational facilities through the state of Michigan. More than numbers, we bring accountability, responsiveness, and care to every space we manage. We understand that all-inclusive has been the recommended, but they've held the contract before, and as discussed in previous meetings, the result...
1 minute left.
Thank you. The result didn't meet expectations, and while RNA has had time to make important and opportunities to raise the bar and has not passed. We're offering a fresh, motivated, and fully engaged team, not just as a vendor, but as a true partner. We want to maintain a clean, safe, and inspiring spaces for your patrons that deserve it. I'm here to ask you to take a second look in making your final decision, and thank you for your time and your service to the community. Thank you.
Thank you.
Vinny?
Not speaking, Ray spoke.
Mohammed?
How you guys doing today? My name is Mohammed Mufid. I'm with RNA Facilities Management. We're going to pass out a couple of things to you guys. I'm the owner of RNA Facilities Management. We've been proudly serving the Ann Arbor Public Library for the last 15 years. We've been dedicated with minimal complaints, and this contract has been, a cornerstone in the growth of our company. This contract means a lot to me. We started with this contract when we first began, but it was just the beginning of a business, and it means a great deal to me personally. All we're asking is for a 1-month delay on the vote to allow us a fair opportunity to address any issues we have sent to delay. We've had asking for a 1-month delay for a vote to give us a fair opportunity to fix these issues, because every month we send reports to the Ann Arbor District Library, and we follow up with the email for walkthroughs or anything, and those have not been responded to. So in our eyes, we felt like, we were doing a great job because we weren't getting any feedback. I heard different last week, so I'm just asking for maybe to get a delay in the vote, give us 30 days, because we do have 30 days left in the contract to prove that we can correct these little issues that we are having, and not to mention that the current vendor you guys don't want to go with in 2017 was removed after 90 days due to poor services. And despite that, we are going to save you guys $15,000 annually. So we've been here 15 years. We know what we're doing. We know these buildings like the back of our hand, and we're asking for a 30-day time period to show you guys how we could fix these issues when they're communicated to us, and we can communicate back. And we can also add our technology processes and new processes we're going to implement here. Thank you for your time, and have a great day, guys.
Thank you.
Garrett?
May I push that off after the SUA for the second
You want the second one?
Thank you.
Okay, no problem.
That's all the comments?
That's it.
All right, great. Thanks, everyone. Next up, we have the financial reports with Eli.
Okay, financial reports begin on page 25 of your packet. Just to touch on a couple of highlights here. General fund cash balance is $6.3 million. That covers about 4 months of expenses. Tax receipts for this month, we are about, this is as we break up our expected taxes into the 12 monthly pieces, 1.8 million per month. And so our total receipts minus refunds through April 30th was $21.5 million. That's 100.1% of budget. We're at the time of the year now where it pretty much stalls out because we start having abatements kind of match unexpected additional revenue. Unrestricted fund balance at $7.6 million as of April 30th. That's about 4.75 months of operations. And if you turn to the next page, on page 26, so we are 85% of budget after 83% of the fiscal year in terms of revenue. In terms of expenditures, we've expended 74% of budget after 83% of the fiscal year. And that will catch up a little bit toward the end of the year, but we've really been in a good spot throughout most of the fiscal year. So our actual paid out is $16.9 million. So at this point, our projection is to end with a surplus of $2.2 million. But we do expect that'll come in a little bit because some of our summer expenses will come between now and the end of the fiscal year. So that'll bring it back down. But we do expect to be in a position to have probably over $1 million, maybe 1.5, able to be moved into the capital fund for next year. And if you look at the grants and memorials, you can see the balances of the smaller accounts. And on page 28, you've got the governmental fund balance. You can see Special Projects Fund currently stands at $133,000. We received $26,000 of unexpected donations in 1 month, and that was actually the month of March. So that was great to see that. Well, we got a $10,000 unexpected donation and a $13,000 bequest from someone's estate. So it was great to see those. So we're in a great spot. Just to touch down then on page 29. Again, we're at 83.3% of the way through the fiscal year. Revenues is 85%. Personnel expenditures, 75.5%. Custodial, we're at 113% of the expenditures, so that one will, I'm sorry, I'm looking at the wrong line. Copier expense is 113.6%. That's a very small line. That one will need an adjustment. Legal expense will need an adjustment. That's already a little bit over. Postage is a little over, but that's also a very small line item, as we've been saying. Repairs and maintenance will need an adjustment. And then software licenses and maintenance and utilities. But overall, we're at 74% of expenditures at 83% through the fiscal year. So that's a good place to be with a current surplus of that $2.4 million. And that is a financial report. Any questions? All right.
Great. Thanks, Eli. Next up, we have committee reports, starting with the executive committee, which met directly before this meeting. We covered a few things. We talked through some contract stuff. We talked about some health insurance changes coming for the staff, updates on our sister organizations, the Friends of the Ann Arbor District Library and the Ladies Library Association, and we kicked off the director evaluation process. So you all will be getting more materials about that in the next week or so, and we'll have our closed session for director's evaluation in June. That's it for the executive committee. Budget and finance.
The Budget and Finance Committee met. They were presented with the final budget, which we've seen at the start of this meeting, and we'll discuss later on the agenda.
Facilities committee.
Yep, the, excuse me, the Facilities Committee met on May 6th. We got an update on the mechanical contractors. We had awarded the contract to W.J. O'Neill, so the rest of the contractors were notified. We got 3 to 4 responses on the janitorial RFP, which we'll hear more about later this evening, and we've already heard a little bit about. There's a water main project starting on West Stadium, actually probably this week if it hasn't already started. And so that's going to disrupt parking and other movement around the Westgate branch. But it should be fine if people can find the parking behind the building. There should be plenty, but that might create some issues. We talked a little bit about revisiting the idea of a generator for Westgate. So we're going to need a larger unit than we had originally expected. The lead time is long, and the budget's a little over $300,000. So far, the Facilities Committee is still in favor of that. I'm sure we'll hear more from Len and Eli coming along. But so that's coming down the pike, and that's coming back to life. There are some drawings underway for the parking lot and outbuilding at the ALF, so we'll see more on that soon. And we were waiting for Terracon to get some stuff from structural engineer to deal with the staples around the outside of the building to keep the facade intact. So yeah, those were all the things we discussed at the Facilities Committee meeting. So more to come from all of those.
Great. Thanks, Scott. Next up, we have the library report with Eli.
All right, if we can bring that up on the screen. So here's the report for May 2025. I want to start off by talking about work orders over time. So this is just looking at work orders just from the downtown library. So this is any of the facilities maintenance work orders. This is not computer problems. It's all either cleaning issues, moving, room setups, all that kind of stuff. And this just looks at the volume per year going all the way back to 2016. So you can see that increase, especially as we started to do more programming up to 2019. And it's also kind of striking that even in 2020 and 2021, when we were pretty much closed to the public, we were still having about 900 work orders a year for the downtown library. But you can see now we're right back caught up to where we were in 2019 in terms of overall work order volume. And I thought I'd look at what the types of those were. So you can see most of them are either custodial or event setup, things that are need to be cleaned or things that have set up for different events. The facilities team does a lot of that work. The gray stripe there is moving. The yellow stripe above that is plumbing. Red one above that is lighting, and up on the top is HVAC, is purple. So one thing that you see here with a close look is that there's a slight uptick in the number of HVAC and lighting and plumbing as well. Those are all things that have grown as the use of the buildings have grown over the past few years. So we've gotten back to our pre-pandemic volume for all this kind of stuff. So that's just a quick look at our overall work order volume. And just to put that, again, in perspective, You know, that's 1,500 plus work orders just for the downtown library. So there's 5 other facilities, so it's a very busy team and they get a lot of stuff done. All right. So for event reviews, just touching on a couple things that happened in May. May 3rd was Ballads of Shorevania, which is like a live D&D sort of thing. 104 in attendance. You can watch that on a YouTube channel. Very creative, excellent event. Star Wars Day, something planned by our events team. That was May 4th. 800 plus in attendance, a very successful event, all kinds of people all over the building. Jocelyn Benson author event, that was May 12th. We had 203 in attendance. That was just last week. And Chasten Buttigieg was here this past weekend. We had 237 in attendance, and that was a terrific event as well. You can watch most of those on our YouTube channel. Coming up in June, we've got a lot of expos and festivals coming up, starting off with Visions. That's Wednesday, June 4th. That's the Assistive Technology Fair. That's during the day. That's at the Downtown Library. A2CAF, the Ann Arbor Comic Arts Festival, it's June 14th and 15th. That's at the Downtown Library. And this year, because our guests are very high profile, we've got Scott McLeod, Raina Telgemeier, and Tony Weaver Jr. The opening event for Scott and Raina will be held in the main auditorium of the Michigan Theater because we don't have a place large enough to hold the audience that will turn out for them. And then Make Music Day coming up on Saturday, June 21st. It's all over town. We're starting to put concerts on the map, and that will be in addition to, we'll have concerts at Westgate. There'll be concerts that night at Top of the Park, and also people hosting concerts on their porch throughout the day. So that's a very cool event, and that's coming up June 21st, coming along very well. Whoops. More June events. We've got Japan Week. That's 7 different events from June 16th to 20th, all of them at the Downtown Library. You can visit aadl.org/Japan Week. That's in partnership with the LSA Center for Japanese Studies at UMich. We also will be welcoming the Ann Arbor Black Film Festival. It's June 6th through 8th at the Downtown Library. And then a special event, Microplastique, performing Friday, June 20th at 2 p.m. at the Downtown Library. We also want to draw your attention to all of our partnerships with the Summer Festival this year. We have 5 featured artists and performances, 3 annex events, 2 Kids Rock concerts, and we will be having a staff appreciation party, which we'll be sending you all more information about at the end of this week. That will feature the Kif Kif sisters, which are a pair of twins who perform circus acts. Squonk, which I am so excited about Squonk. It involves tuba bells, which of course is a good way to get my interest, and giant accordions and a rotating head that shoots steam out its ears and public engagement with the audience. Just a crazy gang there from Pittsburgh, and Squonk is presenting their show Brouhaha 3 times. I think it's 5 shows total between June 20th to June 22nd. The Sakura Instrumental Group, we've had them here at the library. They put on a terrific show. They will be performing at Top of the Park as well. Balkan Paradise Orchestra will be performing on June 22nd. They're a super cool, big, crazy band as well. And we've also brought back Matt Sandbank, who's the shadow puppeteer. He did put on a terrific show, I think 2 years ago. And he's coming back this summer, both for a shadow puppet show on the annex, and also we'll have a workshop about making shadow puppets here at the library. So lots of great partnerships with our excellent partner, the Summer Festival, coming up in June. The summer game starts off June 11th is the first day of Summer Game 2025, bigger than ever. June 13th is the first badge drop. June 25th will be our first Summer Game mixer. July 11th, the Summer Game shop will open. One thing that'll be new this year is how you'll be able to see everything that's in the shop when the game starts. So you'll have a whole month to decide what you want to work on, as opposed to waiting for the shop to open to see what the prizes will be. July 26th, the Summer Game Spectacular at Vets Park. August 15th, we'll have the artist, Meg Lewis, who did the art for this year, as an event. August 22nd is the Summer Game Skate at Yost Arena. That was a huge event last year. And August 24th is the Game Over Gala. So that's your summer all set. So an update on the downtown lobby shops. We announced that just a couple weeks ago, and the applications went open, and I think we've gotten 20 or 30 so far. There's been a great response to that. All kinds of stuff. It will be a big, heavy lift for the staff to decide who to offer spaces to. We'll probably do some interviews once we have our finalists. And it's just really great to see so much reaction to this. Very positive coverage in the news. Great post on Reddit about it. People are really excited. I think one of the comments on the Reddit post was, do you want cool, quirky art shops? Well, this is how you get cool, quirky art shops. So we're delighted to see that. And those applications close at midnight on June 1st. And we are very excited to see how that all comes together. All right, we've just today launched our new Dream Library Gallery. If location and money and HVAC systems and reality in general weren't a consideration, what would your dream library look like? Does it have a roller coaster built into it? Water slides? Does it look like a castle? Is it Star Wars themed? Does it look like a big stack of books, perhaps? So if you go to aadl.org/dream library, we will be inviting members of the public to submit their own dreams of what a new library might look like. And we will have later this week, we'll start distributing coloring sheets at all of our locations where kids can draw their own version and decide if they want to share them, and we'll be sharing those with the public. So go to aadl.org/dream library. This will run almost all summer and will end with the exciting conclusion at the Lego contest, where there will be special awards for people who make their own Lego library for the Lego contest on August 3rd. This past Friday, I attended the Michigan Historic Preservation Network Annual Conference up in Sault Ste. Marie, and we received the 2025 Government Institution Award on behalf of AADL and the AADL Archives for the Ann Arbor 200 project. The other Government Institution Award went to Washtenaw County for their historic preservation efforts. So it was a good week for Washtenaw County up at the MHPN Awards. And thank you to everyone involved on the Ann Arbor 200 project and to the MHPN for doing such a great job in welcoming us into their event. All right, Fifth Avenue Press author Michelle Yang released her memoir, Phoenix Girl, just this month, and they will hold an author event at the Downtown Library on Thursday, May 29th at 6 p.m. Yang is nearing the end of her book tour and has achieved a rare feat and a first for Fifth Avenue Press release. Phoenix Girl was the top seller at Literati last week. That has never happened to Fifth Avenue Press before. We're very excited about this book. It turned out great, and looking forward to that book launch later this month. Here's our staff spotlight for this month. This is Aaron Isett, who is a safety on our safety team. He's worked at AADL for 3 years, and he joined the staff in October of 2021. And he is a blacksmith who forges art and tools from discarded metal. And Aaron does a great job on our safety team, keeping the library safe. And thank you, Aaron. Here's our mention of the month, an Instagram story from Rede Longoria. Time for a new book, taken at the Malletts Creek branch on the couch. Thanks for sharing that. Here's our compliment of the month. I've been doing a lot of printing at the Malletts Creek branch lately, often big documents. Today there were multiple patrons printing, asking about issues with printing. So there are multiple staff helping out and multiple staff helping me on previous days. And the staff was unfailingly professional, helpful, kind, and friendly. That's not unusual, but I was just reminded of how this is consistently true, so I thought I'd send a note of gratitude for the staff at the library and for the whole institution of the AADL. The library's internet connection, DVDs, and books are vital for keeping me in touch with the world. Thank you. That was received via email on May 12th, 2025. Here's our complaint of the month. This came in via card. Why do you allow people to sleep in the library? It is Tuesday, 4/22, 2:30 p.m., man sleeping, snoring near the large print. And it's just an opportunity to reiterate that sleeping is not allowed in the library, and we always ask patrons to let us know. However, we try to be as compassionate as possible when we're dealing with patrons who are sleeping in the library. Our procedure is to wake up anyone who we find sleeping in the library 3 times, and then if after the 3rd time, we will ask them to leave if they're unable to stay awake, unless the temperature is below 25 degrees, in which case we just continue waking them up. Part of the challenge here is that it is not possible for staff to tell the difference between someone who's having a drug overdose or a medical issue and sleeping. So as a result, we will continually wake people up to make sure that they are not in need of medical attention. Sometimes we have bystanders who get concerned about this. Sometimes, of course, people get upset to be woken up. But we have absolutely identified people having medical issues or overdoses through this procedure, and there's really no other way around it. So unfortunately, it's not something that we can allow to happen in the library while keeping people safe in the library. So just to reiterate that. And thanks to all of our staff who spend time helping people stay awake in the library as best they can. And that is my report for this month. Any questions?
Yes. When you are a partner with the Summer Festival, what does that mean exactly? Just
So-
sort of functionally.
We fund a large number of things that they would not be able to bring otherwise. This year, I believe it was about $60,000 was what
Amazing.
we spent to, and then those events become presented by AADL. Of course, only things that are free, but they don't really do ticketed shows inside during the top of the park anymore. So that works out very well, but that is in consultation with us. So like, we're thinking about bringing these acts. What do you think? And we, give them feedback on what we're excited about, particularly with the Kids Rock shows, but with everything in general. And so they pitch us things that they'd like to bring to town, and we say what we're able to commit to for that year. And it's just a great partnership because we reach a lot of people in the community. We're able to help them make things happen that wouldn't happen otherwise. That's free to everyone.
That's terrific. Thank you.
Thank you, Jim. Any other questions? All right.
All right, thanks, Eli. Next, moving on to old business, we've got an update on rezoning and redevelopment of the downtown library with Eli.
Okay, so just a few weeks ago, the city council had the first reading of the rezoning request, and it passed unanimously. with very brief discussion and expression of enthusiasm all around. And it will be coming up to City Council for final approval on June 2nd, Monday, June 2nd. I'll be in attendance. And with that, the zoning will be in effect. So hopefully it will pass, and we will keep you posted.
Great.
Any
Okay.
questions about any of that? Okay.
Awesome. Thanks, Eli. All right, moving on to new business. We have a resolution to approve the annual budget for the fiscal year 2025-2026. I will read the resolution. Pursuant to Act 2, Michigan Public Acts of 1968, as amended, before adoption of a budget, a public hearing shall be held as required by Act Number 43 of the Public Acts of the Second Extra Session of 1963, as amended, Act 43, and Act Number 267 of the Public Acts of Michigan 1976, as amended. Pursuant to Act 43, notice of a public hearing on the proposed budget of the district library must be given by publication in a newspaper of general circulation in the library district at least 6 days prior to the date of such hearing. The board, after due and proper notice, conducted a public hearing on Monday, May 19th, 2025, on the approval of the proposed budget. The board resolves as follows. The board approves and adopts the budget for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2026, as presented. 2, that all resolutions and parts of resolutions that conflict with the provisions of this resolution are rescinded. Can I get a motion to approve the budget?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion.
Just to point out a couple things here. So our millage rate, which will be, that's the next item on the agenda. We did have a Headley rollback this year. We did not have a Headley rollback last year. This brings us to 1.8173 of the originally voted 2.0 mills. Okay, so Headley rollback did affect us a little bit this year. However, there was still an increase in the tax base overall, which brings our proposed tax collection projection. Last year was $21.5 million. For the next year, we're projecting $22.5 million. So an increase of $1 million in property tax revenue. So that's still a slightly conservative estimate, but again, we don't know what will happen with abatements and things like that, and it's always better to be a little bit more conservative. We had overall about a 4.6% increase in the tax base between the 2 years.
What was the Headley, what was the millage rate before the Headley?
1.8228, if I recall correctly, for the current year.
Thank you.
So it was like the millage reduction fraction was like 0.973, something like that. And 1.8173 then is the ceiling of what the library can levy under the Headley Act, absent a Headley override. Okay, we have increased a little bit. Well, this year we budgeted for $150,000 in investment gains. We've gotten a lot more than that. It looks like we're going to be pretty close overall. But for next year, we decrease that a little bit because it's uncertain how most of our money is in bonds. And so it was a little bit higher than last year because of inflation, then decreases the bond value, and then would catch up in the following year. So we'll see what happens with that. But we decrease that a little bit in case of economic uncertainty. Let's see. Oh, yes. Okay, so you can see that we budgeted for $50,000 and we actually received $440, right? So that was us being very conservative, and it's good, always good for that to come in. So next year we budgeted for 100, which is still a lot less than what we received this year. We expect that will, if all things go well, that will still come in over $100,000. But it's better for us to not face a revenue shortage. Revenue overage is always an easy thing to handle. Everything else is pretty straightforward. That brings us to a $23 million even for our revenue projection. And then for costs, we've dialed in the employment costs a little bit to get that a little more accurate. Last year, we had, if you recall, the previous year, we did not accurately estimate the benefits costs. So we overcorrected this year, and now this year we're making a sort of better adjustment right there in the middle. So it is a small increase over the approved budget, but you can see it's a substantial increase over the projected for total employment costs. There are a few new positions in the budget. And then overall, most of the other line items are pretty much the same. Materials budget pretty much the same. The programming budget is exactly the same. We did increase the capital outlays line to $1.25 million this year, but that also includes a reduction in the other equipment. This is about how we capitalize things. in that we're basically going to have anything that is capitalizable to be coming out of the capital outlays line, instead of if it's under a certain threshold, it comes out of a separate line. It just winds up with a lot of bookkeeping things that have to then be corrected with journal entries. So instead, anything that could be capitalized, regardless of its dollar value, will come out of the capital outlays line, where previously only things over $5,000 did. So there's also a shift happening into that line there, where previously it's not just a straight up increase of $500,000. And that brings us to a balanced budget of $23 million. Also down here at the bottom, you can see the capital fund is projected to have a available funds of $2.96 million. And that's our actual budget. The proposed budget for next year, anticipating that the beginning balance will be $2.2 million after this year's expenditures. And then we will see when the audit is done, how much of this year's surplus we're able to put back into the capital fund. Any questions or anything you'd like to know more about with the budget proposal?
So I had one question that you didn't hit already.
Sure.
And the software line is up, and you mentioned earlier we're going to have an adjustment this year, so I'm wondering if there is that just like generally across the board we're buying more licenses, or is there a couple big things?
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing really huge. It's mostly SaaS, software as a service, continuing to get its claws into the organization and getting us stuck into services that we can't live without, and then needing to add more seats to them.
Yep.
You know, a very common story. So that's what most of that is. There's not really any really big changes coming in there. But now, our new accounting system is by the seat. And other sorts of things like that. We're also spending more on things like Airtable. Increasingly Airtable is becoming critical to the operations of the organization. So when you have someone else who needs to get it, there's a cost associated with that.
Yep. Okay. That's all I had.
Any other questions?
No, I'll note that Budget and Finance Committee has had opportunity to review this for a while now. I think we're very happy with where things have ended up. We're concluding this year in really strong financial position. As Eli mentioned, we're looking to end the year with a surplus of $2.2 million. I think, too, I have a lot of confidence just because we've heard comment about the new accounting system being implemented. There are process improvements that have been happening. I'm the newest member of this board. I've been really encouraged by how proactive all the staff have been when it comes to budget and finance. So feeling very good moving into this approval.
Great, thank you. All right, if there are no other comments or questions, we can take a vote. Is this a roll call vote? It's not a roll call vote. Okay, great. So all those in favor of approving the budget as presented, please say yes.
Yes.
All those opposed? Budget passes.
Thank you very much.
Okay, next up, we have the resolution to authorize the millage rate to be levied by taxing authorities. I'm going to have us do a little round robin for this one. I can kick us off, and then we'll just go that way.
Oh, no, it's the next one that's the long one.
There's an even
they're both
longer
long.
one.
We'll round robin. We can round robin both.
But you can round robin.
It's a whole page. I'm going to take turns. All right. The said Board of Trustees of the Ann Arbor District Library, the library, has given due reflection to the budget and operational requirements of the library as to the 2025-2026 fiscal year. I'll pass it to you. Do you have it?
Okay.
Is that the wrong one?
No,
Yeah, you're right.
I'm on the right one.
Yeah.
The said Board of Trustees is desirous of providing for the appropriate certification of operational millage and relative to the library.
The board resolves as follows. One, that as to the 2025-2026 fiscal year of the Ann Arbor District Library, and as to that portion of said library within the city of Ann Arbor, and that portion of the library within the territory, townships, or areas outside the city of Ann Arbor, the voted millage for library operational purposes shall be the amount of 1.8173 mils.
That the foregoing amounts are levied by the Ann Arbor District Library, and the Secretary of the Board of Trustees is authorized and directed to report the same as the library tax levy to the proper assessing officers of the appropriate agencies, and the Secretary may provide copies of this resolution when requested by any appropriate agency. That the amounts certified are essential for the fiscal year of the Ann Arbor District Library commencing July 1st, 2025, except except as subsequently altered or amended by appropriate certification.
That a certified copy of this resolution may be issued as though the original with the certification provided.
Sure, that all resolutions and parts of resolutions that conflict with the provisions of this resolution are rescinded.
Great. Can I get a motion to approve this resolution?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Basically, this is the full amount allowed by Headley, and we're going to levy all of it.
Yeah, let's levy it.
All right.
We,
Sorry.
we,
It's been a long Monday, okay?
We're all a little punchy today.
we
I
have
think.
been levying the full amount for some time now.
Yeah.
And my suspicion is that we're likely, you know, as in subsequent years, to continue to accrue a surplus, which, to my mind, looking at the fund balances as they stand right now, is probably a wise decision. As the senior ranking member of the board, I feel like it is my job to channel previous board members to remind you that we all do not have to levy the full amount, and that at times we might make the decision not to, for varying reasons, including the state of the economy or our, you know, interests in maybe protecting some of the more vulnerable members of the community. With that said, I also agree that it is the right move to levy the full amount.
All right. All those in favor of the levy resolution, please say yes.
Yes.
All those opposed? Motion passes. Now we have an even longer resolution. We're going to round robin again. The resolution to adopt the 2025-2026 budget as a line item budget and compliance of disbursements. Whereas, on an annual basis, the board adopts an operating budget for the library, and
Whereas the Michigan Department of Treasury's Uniform Accounting Procedures Manual includes the following requirements for approval of disbursements. All disbursements must be approved by the legislative body prior to disbursement unless addressed otherwise in the charter. The legislative body may establish a formal policy to authorize payments prior to approval to avoid finance or late charges and to pay appropriated amounts in payroll, including related payroll taxes and withholdings. This policy must be very limited, and a list of payments made prior to approval must be presented to the legislative body for approval.
Now therefore be it resolved that, one, appropriations by the board as the legislative body of the library, the board hereby appropriates for fiscal year 2025-2026 the total amount of $23 million for the expenditure categories set forth in the budget.
Disbursements for payroll and related payroll taxes and withholdings as provided by the Uniform Accounting Procedures Manual of the Department of Treasury, the Director of the Library, the Deputy Director of the Library, the Facilities Director of the Library, HR Manager, or Finance Manager of the Library, each as authorized officer, are hereby authorized to provide for the disbursement of library funds for payroll, including related to payroll taxes and withholdings, provided such disbursements are within the budgeted amounts set forth within the approved budget. 3, disbursements for recurring expenses are necessary to avoid finance of late charges, as provided by the Uniform Accounting Procedures Manual and the Department of Treasury. Each authorized officer is hereby authorized to provide for the disbursement of library funds for payments that are recurring expenses and are necessary to avoid finance or late charges, such as payments for utilities, equipment leases, and similar expenses, provided such disbursements are within the budgeted amounts set forth in the approved budget.
4, disbursements for appropriated amounts as provided by the Uniform Accounting Procedures Manual of the Department of Treasury. Each authorized officer is hereby authorized to provide for the disbursement of library funds for expenditures that have been previously appropriated by the board pursuant to paragraph number 1 of this resolution, provided such disbursements are within the budgeted amounts set forth in the approved budget. 5, presentation of disbursements to the library board. All disbursements made pursuant to the authority of this resolution must be presented to the library board for approval at a subsequent board meeting. 6, limitation of disbursements to $42,000. Notwithstanding any provision to the contrary in this resolution, no authorized officer shall be allowed to approve any single expenditure in excess of $42,000 unless that expenditure has been previously approved in a resolution by the library board or in an agreement authorized by the library board.
7, requirement for dual signatures. Nothing in this resolution shall be construed as modifying the current library board policy that requires 2 authorized signatures on all checks, excluding payroll checks in the amount of $2,500 or more. 8, prior resolutions, all resolutions and parts of resolutions insofar as they conflict with the provisions of this resolution are hereby rescinded.
Can I get a motion to approve the budget?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. I feel like we've already discussed this a couple of times.
Is $42,000 still?
It's, I mean, the CPI calculation is 43,
Okay,
so, but yes, 42,000 is fine.
great.
All right, all those in favor of approving the budget, please say yes.
Yes.
All those opposed? We have a budget. All right, thanks, everyone. Thanks to the Finance Committee. Next up, we have the resolution to award a contract for janitorial service for 3 years. So first, I'm going to read the resolution. The board resolves that the contract for janitorial service be awarded to All-Inclusive Commercial Building Solutions for 3 years, beginning July 1, 2025, for the annual bid amount of $331,078.56. 2, that all resolutions and parts of resolutions that conflict with the provisions of this resolution are rescinded. Can I get a motion to approve this resolution?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Do we have any?
Is
Len, would you
Len
like to
gonna
come
talk
talk
to
about
us?
this? Yeah.
Only feels right. So our current contract is up June 30th of this year. We've had RNA for the last 5 years, and probably close to 14 years, I believe, is the length of the time they've had the contract. We went to public bid. I think we had 6 people reach out to us. I've met with several of them, walked the sites, got staff feedback, had our meetings, feedback from building supervisors and our PED supervisors, and, you know, on our side, the staff side, we decided we'd like to recommend a different company for this 3 years. That's where we landed. So we've had a long relationship with RNA, with Mohammed and Mufid. I've worked with them a long time. It's just, as a staff, we thought it was time to make a change.
Thank you, Len.
Yeah, I know this is, I feel like we've had a few of these various kinds of contracts come up lately, and it's often the case that we decide to switch vendors when these contracts are up.
Yes, yes. I mean, lawn and snow is one that has gone back and forth more than the others. We kept mechanical for a long time. That was a lot of turnover on their end. If you know, folks don't retire in the mechanical world, you usually keep them. And that was kind of the breakdown of that relationship. So it's a little bit different, but no, it's not uncommon to go with a different vendor for a period and see where they were, see where someone else is. And then, you know, we have, like lawn and snow, we have gone back to the old contractor before. That has happened.
Go ahead.
I was going to say on that we did select a new audit firm
Yep.
this year after that contract expired as well. Len, I'm really grateful for the context. We on the board don't work in these buildings every day for the hours that all the staff do. So really the input that we get from you and the teams that work for you is really invaluable. And yeah, thank you.
Okay.
Any other questions or comments? All right, all those in favor of this resolution, please say yes.
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
All those opposed? All right, motion passes. Next up, we have a resolution to approve the space use agreement with the Friends of the Ann Arbor District Library. This is not a long one, I'll read it. The board resolves, 1, that the president of the Board of Trustees of Ann Arbor District Library be authorized to sign the 1-year space use agreement along with the co-presidents of the Board of the Friends of the Ann Arbor District Library. 2, that all resolutions and parts of resolutions that conflict with the provisions of this resolution are rescinded. Can I get a motion to approve this resolution?
So moved.
Second.
So close. All right, discussion.
So just to touch on this briefly, this is pretty much the same space use agreement that we approved last year with a few small changes. The dates, of course. It removes reference to relocating the Friends to the ALF. It renames the plaza to the ALF, which appears in the document. And then there's just a few small adjustments that we've made based on conversations with the Friends leadership to make sure that their questions are clear. For example, they wanted to make sure that the merch that Rich has provided to them that they can sell in their shop doesn't count against their 20 pallets of book storage, which is in the agreement that it does not. They also wanted to be sure that they could, the wording was a little unclear about their ability to request access outside of the 9 to 6. So I just made that a little bit clearer. But otherwise, materially, it is the same agreement, and we're looking forward to approving it and continuing our excellent relationship with the Friends.
Great.
Now that they've kind of settled in, what's the feedback been? How's it been going?
I think it's been going very well from what they've been talking about at their board meetings. I know that they had already surpassed what they had been doing in a full month operating out of the lobby shop with what they're doing just open on Saturdays. And they had a great bag sale. They had good numbers for the bag sale.
That's
But,
great.
you know, it is a very cyclical business,
Yeah.
right? So, but I think overall, and Garrett's going to probably speak at the next session, and he can elaborate further. But I think they're very settled in, and operations are smoothing out, and things are going well.
Eli, since we've had some discussion earlier this evening about the lobby shops, I wonder, just for anyone who's new to the community or not familiar with the Friends, can you just do a brief recap
Sure.
of the Friends transition
Yes,
from
thank you
this
for asking
building
about
to
that.
the other one?
So when we purchased the warehouse, we didn't necessarily have a solid vision for the use of all of it. And one of the things that we did is we were thinking about how we could best make use of that space, particularly a little area in the front that was the office. We asked the leadership of the Friends of the Library if they would be interested in relocating their operations out to that spot. One of the issues, aside from the challenges of parking, both for volunteers and for people who wish to donate and getting downtown, another issue was just the space between what we could give them in the basement to sort and in the shop to sell, and that there was really no more room for either, and that in fact we needed some of both of that space. So we made that offer to them, and the Friends decided that they would choose to relocate out to the warehouse, and then we helped build out that space, build it to their needs, provide the shelving, help make the move happen, shelving carts and all that kind of stuff, and now they are quite well settled and operating solely out of there, plus sending materials out to all of the branches for the sales shelves at the branches. And that has been going very well, but it was definitely something where I know it's easy to assume that we forced out the Friends to be able to offer that space to others, but no, it was that we offered the Friends an opportunity to simplify their operations. They leapt at it. And then after they had moved out, we started thinking about what to do with that space, and the lobby shops is where we landed.
Great, thanks so much.
Yeah, I've been out there. It's a great space. I love shopping. We always find treasures in the new space.
When we bring visitors from other libraries through there, they always say, well, we better not let our Friends group see this. Yeah.
I'll also note, I recently learned that you can see some inventory on the Friends website. So, you know, if you want to browse from home, that is an option in addition to shelves in some of the branches and the actual Friends facility.
It is also a lot easier to make donations now. I've done that also, and it's
Yes.
like,
There's now a 24-hour drop box outside as well.
it's great.
Oh, nice.
All right, let's vote. All those in favor of this resolution, please say yes.
Yes.
All those opposed? Motion passes. We've got another year with the Friends in that space.
All right. Thank you very much.
Terrific, thank you. And that concludes the business of the meeting. We move to our second public comment period. Looks like someone's checking in right now, but yes, Garrett, why don't you go ahead?
So I don't know if this is the third year, fourth year I've been up here after you've approved it, so thanks once again. Every year I'm I'm pretty sure the resolution's going to go through, but I'm glad I don't have to get up here and with tears in my eyes. So Garrett Scott, treasurer of the Friends Group. Just want to say thanks again for all the support that we get from the library. A couple of quick updates. Since you last saw me last year, we moved. And a big thanks, Rachel right over here, I want to recognize Rachel's effort in coordinating the material and the volunteers and everything that it took to get us moved out to the Parkland Plaza, to the ALF. In under 3 months, she managed to help us get an entirely new bookshop opened. And despite being closed for 3 months of that year, our projected sales for the year maybe down about 6%. So people are coming out to support what we have to do. We are very grateful for the material support that the library has given us, for fixtures, artwork, design, everything that goes into sort of running our program. And finally, since I first appeared before you, just as we're kind of coming out of the COVID years, we're finally in a position to really do some good substantial work to sort of support both specific projects for the library, Craig Walsh's Monuments project, video project last fall. We were glad that we were able to give a significant donation to help make that happen as part of the bicentennial. And thinking about bicentennial and thinking about sort of the historic arc of the library, we're also in a position now to start thinking about ways that we can support what the library might look like 10, 20, 50 years from now. This is kind of a new mandate for us, so it's kind of an evolving conversation about how we can do this and kind of remain true to the scale and work that we do in the community. So we'll continue to have that conversation. We'll continue to do what we can to support the library. And as always, Saturday mornings, 10 a.m., if you want to line up out front, they'll be ready to sell you some books. So if there's any questions, always feel free to reach out, figure out what we're doing, and as we continue to try to grow. So thanks.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you. And shout out to Rachel. Thanks for all the good work.
Yeah.
Good evening. I'm speaking on personally on behalf of myself as a 48-year citizen of Ann Arbor and a resident here. Seen a lot of changes in the library and the library system. Wasn't expecting to speak tonight, but I'd like to address the director evaluation coming up next month. That really piqued my curiosity. Not sure who gives the evaluation, but if it was up to me, get a glowing review. I've seen immense positive changes. Your staff is remarkable. The summer game, I saw that, and the last couple of years have been the best summers for me and my kids. We really enjoy that, and the staff engagement online, the events that you hold at Vets Park, the badges, it's just really well organized, and I'm sure the planning is already starting because this year is already behind you, and you're planning for next year already too. But you've done a remarkable job the last 2 years. We've engaged, and I really, like I said, if it was up to me, you get a glowing remark, and I hope that those comments, my comments, are well received, and I'm sure many people will agree with me. With the 10,000 plus people, as you know, the director gives a report about how many players there are, 10,000 plus, and I think every year it grows and grows in word of mouth. But the organization, it's just phenomenal. The games, I mean, the different ways to interact. It's just amazing and really well organized. And any support, budget-wise, financially, that the board can provide to the director to allow expansion of that. I think for me personally, I would stand behind that 100%. Thank you for your listening, and thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Margaret?
Hello, my apologies. I got here rather late, so I was not sure if I would have a specific comment or not. But I moved here to Ann Arbor under a year ago. I just want to say I am extremely appreciative of the library and its many programs, especially since I'm kind of broke. I just got back from wood carving. I made this,
Cool.
the book, what are they called? Yeah, the book holder. So thank you very much. Please keep having the programs. They have been such an incredible quality of life boost and a way for me to learn new skills and hopefully apply them in the future in a way that can help me. I live in subsidized housing right now. I don't have any income, but there's 3D printing labs, so hopefully, if I learn through those, that may change. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for your comments. I'll note, this is the second time in my time on the board that someone has brought an item they've made at a library program. I think we saw a really fantastic tote bag at a previous one. So anytime someone wants to come and comment and show off what they've made, I'm happy to see it.
Absolutely.
Second.
Just a reminder, is it June and July board meetings that you can get
Yes,
summer
June
game
and
points?
July board meetings.
So if you're playing the summer game and you want to tell us anything about the library, you can get points. Sorry, no points in advance.
it's a
You
really
have to
good
come
code.
back.
It's a good code, for sure.
Well, and I'll note for the previous speaker that the comments are well taken. The part of the board's purview is to provide the director's evaluation. So it's the right ears you're talking to, and we're really appreciative of your coming out tonight.
Yeah. Any other comments? All right, in that case, tonight's meeting is adjourned. Thanks, everyone.